I'm back with another video. Today's video is featuring some things from Altenew. This is the Nostalgic Florals, Stamped Die Stencils, and then I also used the Fairyland Florals, the 3D embossing folder, as well as the stencils, and then Sweet Lilies, again, Stamps, Dies, Stencils. So let's talk Stampwheel. This is the original Stampwheel. It's 8x8. You can see it's very well loved. I used it all the time in my craft room. I did get a Stampwheel 2.0. This is the first time that I am pulling it out. So as you can see, the base is bigger. The actual stamping surface is a 9x9, which is nice because like the Sweet Lily sets, like those are a bit bigger. I did double check. If you are a Pink Fresh fan, the washies do fit in here. So instead of using like the door of your other stamp platform, they will fit in here. So when you get it, basically what you see me doing here is there's 2 pieces of acetate and your photopolymer grid is in between. So you want to go ahead and remove those to have your sticky surface. That part, like where I pulled it off, does that not look like old school snow on a TV? That's what I was thinking of the first time I edited it. So here it just sticks because it is that photopolymer, so you just stick it down in the base. There is a clear film over the top, like lid platen portion that you do peel off to have that crystal clear lid with the grid. And so basically it's a larger version of the Stampwheel with a couple of different things. The first one, obviously, besides the size, here what I'm doing is I'm gonna stamp a background for my card. So I'm just kind of laying everything out. Is that they have added a ruler on the side of it. So there is a ruler on the side that kind of shows you, it goes up to 9, I think. The gold quarters do cover the 8 and the 9, as well as the 1. But anyway, you can eyeball it because all the tick marks are still there. So you could probably write on the gold if you wanted to. But anyway, so they added a ruler, which I think is great. So that way, you know, you can add that up. They also put in these little guides. They're little like plus guides. Hold on. I'm having a hard time getting mine up and there's no way you can see it on screen. So there's like these little... There's like these little guides that you could, what are they, dots, I think? Anywho, so you can see those kind of through, you know, where they divot in and it creates like a little plus that you can see so that you know your lines are straight. And then, the other thing is this right arm is removable. Now, I didn't have a need to remove it until later in the video, so I will show you that when that happens. But from what I can tell, this is just, you know, they listened to the input of the crafty community about the things that they wanted, and they just came out with a improved version, which I love. I think it's great. I think the original Stampwheel was great. I think this one is great as well. Now, I will say they also have, if you don't, and I don't have this, but it is on my Christmas list, they just have a 9x12 sticky mat where you wouldn't have the platform, but they're so great for holding stencils. Like you can see how this is holding my paper. And this is that extra large Sweet Lily one. So that fits really nicely. You have plenty of wiggle room. It's not going to be like butted up against in the corner where, you know, maybe you're not going to be able to get a good impression. it is more accommodating for these larger sizes, which if you are a card maker, but also maybe a scrapbooker, that's really, really nice. You know, Misty used to have a 12 by 12. I don't know if they still do or not. But it was almost like too big. But if you're a scrapbooker, it was probably perfect because you could put your whole layout in there. So that's what I have to say about that. Let me talk about what I'm doing because I've been stamping here, right? I'm stamping in the sand dunes color for a no line kind of look because it makes it easier for me to line up my stencils, but then my stencils give more of a no line look because that sand dune color is so light. Here I'm also going to use the Fairyland florals. I've cut it into a square so that it fits this, I think it's 6 by 6 folder completely, so that way I can make a choice about what part I want to use. But I did want to show that you can use the sticky portion of the mat to hold these in place, even though they have lots of texture. So this is right side up, and this is how you would normally use the stencils. I'm going to do that reverse technique where we make a darker background, but this time instead of winging it, I'm going to use the stencils so that way everything is colored the correct colors that I want it to be. But that means when I pull out my stencils, like here you'll see it says Altenew and the number on the front, you want to flip it over onto the back because we flipped over the design so that we are adding the color to the debossed areas, not the embossed areas. So, the sale. The Black Friday sales are rolling in, which is great, fantastic. Altenew currently has 50% off their stencils, and then they also have today, only the 26th, they have a flash sale of 50% off their envelope bundle, and then their fresh dye inks, which is what I'm using today, are also 30% off, and that is through the 27th. They also have plenty of other things. There's like up to 55% off on over 400 items, but the stencil sale and the ink sale is through tomorrow, and they typically do free gifts. Today's free gift is the Stamp Perfect conditioner. You have to have a minimum order of $79, but they are also through the 27th doing free shipping in the US on orders over $29 and $10 off international shipping on orders over $129. So they are always really, really great about doing multiple sales. And I'm sure if you don't catch this video on the 26th, you catch it on the 27th, there'll be a different free gift or a different bundle that's on sale, but they're all always very excellent. So I would highly recommend that you check that out. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Let's talk about the card for a little bit, shall we? So here you can see I have sped this up, and it's because we do have so much stenciling going on. There's a lot. We're making 3 cards today, guys, 3 individual cards. So if you have not, if you've never used these inks before, you can buy the bundle like with the whole color family, or you can just buy them individually. And I really, really like that there is an option to, do one or the other. So it's just nice. Like Altenew has always been very good about like grouping their colors for you, kind of taking the guesswork out of it. They've always been really, really good at that, and nothing's changed. So just some other things that, just because I have seen a lot of people in like different craft groups ask about the artist markers. I'm not using them. Well, I'm only using one, I should say. in today's video, but the artist markers are probably the most similar to Copics because they do have that, you know, brush nib. They do have the core style of ink, whereas like Olo's is free-flowing ink, which those are great too. But if you were looking to invest into something, the Altenew artist markers are really good. They're always coming out with new colors. They have refills that also double as alcohol inks, so you could, you know, pick up your re-inkers and then use those to do alcohol ink techniques as well. So those are, like I said, they're 30% off. So really, really good deal. But they do have some of the markers also on sale. Like there was one I saw and I was like, wow, that is a good deal. So normally the markers, like this one is, this is the Woodland Garden, which I actually taught in my Altenew. I use these in my Altenew class. But they're normally $44.99. They're $24.74 right now. Like that's a super good deal. There's some gouache sets that are on sale for like under $20 if you wanted to get into that and try it. Their watercolor brush marker set, which I'm a huge fan of, big fan, they're $20. So anyway, you can obviously go and see what they have, but I'm just telling you, there's lots of good stuff. Papers and stencils and all kinds of embellishments. Really, really good stuff. So now, here's where I'm moving that bar. See how it just pops right off? And then that way I can lay my stencil where it hangs over. Or if you're stamping like a larger panel or stenciling a larger panel, it could hang off the side there. So it just makes it so that it is more versatile. And then you can see with all of my inking, you don't have to, but I do like to add a little bit of extra shading. So I may, you know, do the lightest color and then go in with the mid-tone and then the darkest color. I do like their flat mini brushes for this. Those I do enjoy. And then they also have they do have the small, I have not tried these, but I would be willing to bet they're pretty good. The small flat bristle ones, those are probably pretty good. But I was talking about the detail blenders. The detail blending brush set. They have like the angled bristles in a size 5, 7, and 10, and I have those as well, and you'll see them periodically. But for the most part, with my stencils, I usually use those flat mini brushes because they're small enough that I don't typically have to mask anything, which I enjoy. I like not having to mask it if I don't have to. So yeah, and then I just picked a bunch of colors that I thought would work nicely together. Some pinks, yellow, oranges, and then some teals and some yellow greens. They work really nicely together. This is the Sweet Lilies, and originally I thought I was gonna do a 2-for-1 card, but I was like, I don't even need 2 cards. Like I could just use this one image on one card and like kind of fill it up. But if you needed 2 cards, you could cut this right in the middle and you could use it as 2 A2 size cards. Or you could throw them down into panels. That'd be pretty too. I'm a big fan of the panels, especially with a black mat. Oh, I can't help myself. I love a bold, like a bright color with a black, which is how all of these cards, except one of them. Well, even that one I gave it a black mat, so I can't stop myself. But anyway, So it's been a while since I was on here posting. I do try to be pretty consistent, but this weekend was it was a busy weekend. So Friday we went out for my mother-in-law's birthday. Just if you were wondering, Max and Irma still does have their cookies. They were not as good as I remembered them. Like, they weren't bad, but they weren't as good as I remembered them. But it was nice to see everybody. Here, I do in this part, because it's the leaves and the stamen, I am going to go ahead and mask off the stamen of the lilies, just so that way I don't get green on them or teal. So I did mask those off, and then once I'm done, I'll clean off my stencil and then go back in and do just the stamen. So that way I don't risk picking up any of that green or blue-green. So anyway, so Friday we did that. It was good. The kids were really good in the restaurant. I was very proud of them. And then Saturday, we have something here called the Christmas Connection, and it's like a big expo center, and it's massive. But it's all like vendors for different kinds of, things that you can go and purchase your Christmas presents. And there's lots of food. Like, you could just get full on trying all the testers that they have. So I went and did that on Saturday with my mom and my sisters. So that was can you guys even believe it? I forgot my watch. So before, what was going on before? My husband had to take our son somewhere. And so I was solo with the little one, but I needed to take a shower. So listen to listen to this. So I went in. I don't have a bathtub in my bathroom. I just have a shower. So, I went into the kids' bathroom and to wash my hair, like bend over the sink or bend over the tub and wash my hair. So I had my little jelly bean helping me wash my hair and helping me rinse my hair, which I'm sure you can only imagine how that went. But she enjoyed herself. So then after that, I just like wrapped up my hair, went down the hall to my bedroom. And the reason I did that was basically so it would cut down on my shower time. So I then got into the shower knowing I would only need like 5-10 minutes just because my hair was done. And so like the whole time I entertained her by playing peekaboo with the shower door. So it was a chilly shower. It was not the warmest shower I ever took, but we got it done. Later on, my husband was like, why didn't you just bring her, like, I have an iPad. Why didn't you just bring the iPad? He's like, she would have totally watched that for 5 or 10 minutes. And you even had to play peekaboo. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea. And it literally did not occur to me. So anyway, so I was showered and stuff, and she doesn't like the blow dryer. So when I was doing the blow dryer, she was playing in our bed. But anyway, so I was getting ready for that. And then when he got home, we swapped. So he took the little jelly bean, and then I went to go, with my mom and my sister. All of that to say, when I take a shower is when I charge my watch, which is a Fitbit. But, because I was doing all of the crazy, wash my hair over here, peekaboo games over here, like, just momming it up. I forgot to put my watch on, and I didn't even realize it until we got there. And I was like, girl, you have to do all of this walking, and you're not even going to get credit for it. And I didn't. And it was a big bummer. It's a huge bummer. But it was nice to go. And obviously, anytime I can spend time with my mom and my sisters, like, I'm here for it. But we did find some Christmas gifts. We did find lots of snacks. We found this one, it was like a maple stand. I love maple. Not everybody does, and I get that, but I do, and so does my dad. But anyway, they made like maple, like popcorn, cotton candy, maple covered peanuts and cashews, kind of like honey roasted. but theirs were maple. Huh. Like, I have been already, which I knew because I've started some medication. I was already, putting on some weight, and then I've been snacking a little bit more, in the evening. And so I know myself, and I know, oh, we got to talk about the card. So now the stenciling is done. We're die cutting those out. This is my guillotine trimmer. Yes, I got one finally from Spellbinders. I never bought one because I never felt like I needed it. But then I didn't have 3D embossed images. And so the one where you slide, which is still my preferred trimmer, will not cut them. It like tears it. So I went ahead and got the like Crafter's Essential Bundle, which is a really good deal from Spellbinders, and it included the guillotine trimmer, and it does work way better. I got to give that one to Dawn because she's the one who told me to use it. So guillotine trimmer for the win if you're trying to cut something that's super textured. Here, this is that reverse technique where we've added all of the colors, to the debossed areas, and then we're going to go over top with our, this is Obsidian black pigment ink, and I'm just like rubbing it over the top. I was a little bit more aggressive with the rubbing this time than I normally am, so some of them did get a little bit more black on them, but I'm not mad about it. I still am happy with that. For this one, we're going to add the black by doing the outline of the images. So that little white outline that you would normally see, I'm going to color that black with the S marker. This is from set A of the Altenew's artist markers. And I'm just going to work my way around the edge. I really like the way that these came out. They're very no line, but they still, have a little bit of shading, which I like, those bright colors against that black. If you wanted to do Altenew's all matchy-matchy, which really speaks to my heart because I love a matchy-matchy. So they just came out recently with cardstock that, kind of matches. Here, what I'm going to show you is if you put it up against your black, you'll see any of the white areas that you might have missed. Sometimes we do miss them kind of on the edges, and that needs to be added to it. For this one, I'm adding some shading. We were doing like a tone-on-tone kind of background with those same nostalgic florals. So I'm just adding some pool and some teal tempest around the edges. And then we're going to work our way into doing some splatters. If you don't like splatters, just skip them. I like them. And mine are metallic, and that makes me like them even more because I love the shimmer. So anywho, they did the maples, and they're so good. I'm like, oh yeah, this is trouble for me. Like this, I will pack on the LBs. So I'm trying to make better choices for myself. I realize that it's the holidays and that I'm not going to be able to completely curb what I'm eating because it is the holiday season, but I am trying to just start getting into the habit of getting into a workout routine and drinking more waters. So wish me luck, because it's hard out here. It is hard out here to do any like self-care. So here, my spatters, you saw that I spattered on some of that Teal Tempest. Then now I've moved on to Altenew's metallic watercolors. So I am using the Sterling Silver. Then I also went in with I think it's the Rose Quartz for the one on the far right. And then I am going to use will I remember the name of it? Will I? Is it the jade one? No, I think it's the aquamarine. I'm pretty sure it's the aquamarine. It's like this tealish color that you already see in the cards. And so I did that one on all three of them as well. If you don't like the shimmer, you could use gouache. Their gouache was on sale, actually. But I have their white and their black gouache. And here I'm using their black pan watercolors. I would have preferred the gouache, but honestly, I couldn't find where I had stored it. I thought it was with my watercolor stuff, but it's not. And I didn't really have time to look for it. So I just grabbed the pan watercolors because they were right there and I knew that they would work. Here I'm using a combination of the Versatile Greetings 2 and the Scripty Sentiments. These are both dies, cutting them out of white and their shadow out of black. I'm also combining them with some white heat embossing of the Sincere Sentiments. This Sincere Sentiments I really like because it pretty much hits up kind of everything, and it's a good font, like a good legible font, which I think is really underappreciated. But anywho, so we die cut all of those out of black and white, did the white heat embossing. I did not leave that in here because we're already, like I said, we're making 3 cards, so we're pressed for time. I did pop up my sentiments on foam. For this one, it's says, just a note, thank you for all you've done for me, to fill up kind of that area. And then the other one, I combined the 2 dies. So I took the happy from the Versatile Greetings and the hello from the Scripty Sentiments and combined them for this one. And I did trim my piece down so that it would be, slightly smaller, mounted that on black. And then added my black and white sentiments. This one is probably like the brightest of the 2, but I still enjoy the black and white with the color. I honestly cannot help myself. And then for the last one, I did not pop them up on foam. It says happy birthday, hooray. I just cut them apart after I heat embossed them to bring my sentiment together. The lilies is the one where you could have cut it in half and gotten 2 cards out of it. Instead, I am going to cut it in half, and that way I can change the orientation. So I'm going to stick one kind of down here in the bottom right. I will then trim that off. These are those spellbinders, those large shears from that Essential bundles. Enjoying using those very much. And then this way I can either bring it in from the top or from the other side to kind of fill up the card and change the orientation or of how the card lays, like how the card design is. And so I put those down, and then we'll add the sentiments flat. In addition, I did use some gemstones to accent the sentiments. And then I think that's it. I think putting on the gemstones was like the last part of that. And what did I use? I think I used some iridescent ones from Crafty Meraki, though Altenew does have like their mother of pearl ones, which are really, really pretty. But again, I didn't know where I had put them, and I didn't have time to dig for them. So I just used what was on my desk. Yeah. So anyway, we went and did all the eating. I always get my wedding set cleaned when I'm there because they have like a little one that sells the jewelry cleaner that I buy. So that's always nice. Like I know once a year I'm getting my wedding set cleaned. But other than that, I mean, it's just, walking around and looking at different things and trying to find Christmas gifts, and it's a lot of fun. So, these are all 3 cards. I hope that one of these techniques kind of speaks to you. I hope it gives you a good overview of what the Stampwheel 2.0 is bringing to the table. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.